So, fun fact, we can't mail letters to the United States anymore. Yeah. So the other day I go to the post office and I just wanted to send a Halloween card to my parents, a condolences card to a friend who lost a grandpa, and just a few other like letters. Okay, literally cards in the mail. And I go to the post office and it says that it's indisponible to select the United States, and I was like, that's weird. So I stand in line, I talk to the woman, and she's like, yeah, I don't know why, but we just can't send anything to the United States. And I'm like, huh, okay. So I Google it and it says packages because of the tariffs. And I'm like, interesting. And then I go to another post office location and I bring my husband with me because I'm like, maybe it was a translation error. Like maybe my French, I just like misunderstood. No. We can't even send mail to the United States anymore in France, which is very concerning in terms of what the F is going on in the United States.
No hate to this creator because I'm sure that's their personal experience, but I wanted to apologize for resharing this video without actually fact checking at all. Because we've known since August that a number of European countries have suspended the shipment of packages to the United States. It's entirely because of Donald Trump's chaotic and pointless and economy destroying tariffs. Specifically, that's because back in late August, the Trump regime rolled back this policy where packages could be mailed to us here in the US that were valued under $800. They could come into the country duty free, right? They were exempt from having to pay tariffs. So this became very confusing, and a bunch of postal services in a number of different countries like Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Italy, France, and Austria were like, yeah, we're not bothering with this. We're very clear this doesn't apply to letters. So I was frankly disturbed when I saw this creator's video, right? She's like, I live in France and I can't even send postcards to the United States. And I just, I clicked reshare, and usually I try and check the facts. But then I saw this video from my friend Charlotte.
I've been told you can't send letters to the US anymore from France. I've been tagged many times in this video. So let's go to my local post office and see if I can get these sent. Ça va? Oui, pas mal. Tu es un petit malade, mais pas trop. J'ai 6 lettres pour les États-Unis et aussi une pour Nouvelle-Zélande. I didn't film the whole thing because you didn't need to hear my terrible French, but yeah, no problem sending a letter. Hopefully they've all arrived, the people I've sent them off to.
So Charlotte, who lives in France, didn't have any trouble posting letters to the US. So I'm sorry that I reshared without doing more due diligence. I don't want to whip people up and have them fear things that are not really happening, right? There's enough legitimate, terrible things that are happening. We don't have to manufacture scenarios that are even worse than they actually are. So I'm not sure if the initial creator at the beginning of this video, there was just some issue at her local post office or what have you. But I really thought this whole scenario, besides being a lesson to me to like pump the brakes on clicking repost, it's also a great chance to talk about what Charlotte is doing. Because she's just like, y'all, she's such a real ally and a supporter of people here in the United States, particularly vulnerable folks who are being targeted by the regime. I know I say all the time to the people in my YouTube comments, because most of my YouTube viewers are not in the US. I have a huge amount of people in Europe and Canada and Australia who are always like, what can we do to help support people in the US? What can we do to show our support for y'all? And I always say like economic resistance, right? That's a really powerful tool. For example, a number of people in Canada were like, I'm canceling my Disney Plus after the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. A lot of people are like, I don't buy American goods right now. I want to put economic pressure on the regime. Charlotte is taking that like 10,000 steps further, right? She's saying, I am a Brit in France. She's saying, I'm going to use my resources and my platform to help people who are especially targeted by the regime, whose liberty and lives may be at risk, leave the United States and seek asylum somewhere else. The work that she's doing is really invaluable. Those of us who have the privilege and some measure of safety, we need to stay here and we need to fight for our democracy. We need to take care of our communities. We need to protect folks who can't leave. Most Americans cannot leave. But there are groups of people who live here. There are individuals who live here whose liberty and lives are at risk. It is not safe for them to stay in the United States right now, and they need to go somewhere else while the rest of us work on stabilizing the country. And Charlotte has made it her mission to help those people. So she has a website called helpmeleave.us. I really encourage you to go check it out and see how you can support her work. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will have links to all of her different platforms where you can follow her and support what she's doing and amplify her message and help share her resources with people who maybe need to get out of the country right now. Again, most of us, we should be staying. Most of us are protected enough and should be able to undertake some level of risk to stand up. Like, we all need to be organizing and pushing back, but there are people we need to help get to safety somewhere else for right now. And like, God bless Charlotte for being willing to do that work. That's just such tremendously important work. And I think it is one way that people who are outside the US can really help us. Because the number one aspect of a successful resistance movement is that we do not abandon those that are targeted by the regime. We do not abandon the most vulnerable. We have to focus on safety for everybody. And there are people in this country right now whose safety is particularly at risk. So please go see how you can support Charlotte's work, and make sure that you share her website, helpmeleave.us, people in your life who may need to access the services and support that she's providing.